And welcome back to part 2 of what do we call? What are you going? What's your title for this going to be?
And here's Modi.
No, but and here's Modi's the name of the podcast. But you always find some creative.
I have to think about it. It hasn't come yet.
Okay. We are in the studio with Louis
AlShareef.
AlShareef and Dan
Feferman.
Dan Feferman. With part 2, we've been going at it in the most loving way, discussing Quran, Rambam, and the Torah, and the work you guys are doing to change people's view of. Wow, I'm babbling like an idiot. I hate when I say, what a putz. I should shoot myself right in the face.
We're working to build peace around the Abraham Accord.
Exactly, thank you.
The region is going to be better when people talk to each other.
Exactly.
Sit around a table.
And
talk.
if you want to see a model for that,
Yes.
you have to go to the UAE.
Can I share something?
Yeah.
So, I'm a Middle East affairs expert. That's my profession before all this. I flew to the UAE right when the Abraham Accords were announced. And I should have known better. Because everyone told me it's tolerance. But, we have in our heads what an Arab country looks like. And it is truly the most multicultural. I couldn't imagine an Arab Muslim country where you hear the call to prayer 5 times a day. And when you see women dressed in the full thing, to be so respectful of every religion or people who don't want to be religious, women's rights, anything you want. I wear a kippah. I usually wear a kippah. Not here in New York. I usually wear a kippah. And when I walk around the streets of the UAE in my kippah, speaking Hebrew, eating at kosher restaurants, so respectful.
Really?
And they got it.
Let me tell you,
there's a model. There's a model for coexistence there.
And
they got right.
I have to tell you one thing, adding to what Dan said. Name me one Arab Muslim country that allowed Jews freely to celebrate Purim a week ago.
Wow.
Name me one.
I don't know.
Name me one.
I don't.
You will
I don't
never
have
be
any
able
names.
to name one. The UAE, the Jewish, our dear beloved Jewish community celebrated the Purim in Rambam synagogue within the Abrahamic family house.
Wow.
It's new.
That's a big
New
wow.
synagogue.
Of
That's
course,
a big wow.
It's a deserved wow. And it's after October 7th. No one said, "Oh, we should hide. We should do this." And but not only the Jewish community, also the Christians and also the Hindus. A big Hindu temple was inaugurated in the UAE. So the mentality of the leaders there is Islam has to be moderate, progressive, and this is why Islamists hate the UAE to the bone.
It's true.
Really?
It's true.
Of course,
Yeah.
because they see a model of Islam that is progressive, that is successful,
And inclusive.
It's
and
so funny.
inclusive.
Inclusive.
So just to
I don't look
lighten
at
up,
what I'm saying.
my friends that went to the UAE and they came back and said, Brian was telling me, I can't believe how well manicured the men's beards are.
Can I tell you a secret?
He said, no.
They laser it.
They
laser the
said to
beard
me,
lines, right?
Modi,
They
I'm
laser
walking
the
around
beard
this
lines.
mall.
I shave
I'm
it.
walking
I don't
around
laser,
this
I shave
mall,
it.
and these men are trimmed and like primped, and the eyebrows and everything is that a thing?
Yeah.
That's a thing.
They're very well manicured there.
Wow. Well, good.
But living there also is a blessing. Baruch Hashem, thank God, it's like the most beautiful country, not only in the Gulf. To be very honest, I lived in the U.S. I studied here, by the way, in the U.S. The proud Nittany Lion. I lived in State College. I also lived in different areas of the world. The UAE is, when you live there, you don't want to leave.
Really?
It's amazingly beautiful.
I'm in.
Financially, religious freedom, what you can do, and also the sense of security. And the way how the people are in big trust to the leadership is something very important. So it's a monarchy, and people follow the leader, and the leaders of the UAE want to take the country to the brighter version of the Middle East. We don't have one Middle East. We have two Middle Easts. We have a Middle East that wants to thrive, prosper, invest in AI, high tech, invest in the future, creates the future, and a Middle East that wants to drag us into war and chaos and anarchy. Which Middle East would you choose?
That's what October 7th showed us.
Which Middle East would you choose?
So when we reflect this message, by the way, at our speaking tour, audiences get that.
Yeah.
Because they're told the Hamas lies. And by the way, I want to argue about one point. We meet a lot of American Muslims, and I believe that they are overwhelmingly moderate. They just been brainwashed on Israel. because they have no clue. They think they believe the Hamas lie that October 7th was resistance against occupation. I explained to them, Israel left in 2005. Like,
Right.
oh, we had no idea, right? They just don't know.
October 8th, I always keep saying this, October 8th, everybody became a Middle East expert. Everybody, all of a sudden, the Ottoman Empire, the Balfour Declaration, the English Mandate, everybody all of a sudden became a professor
Of geopolitics.
of a everybody started quoting. No one knows a thing. I know I don't know anything, but I admit I don't know anything. I'm open to learning. Teach me. Nasiv nilmod. I'm ready to learn. But people all just are so. And then we see it with the gay pro-Palestinians.
Oh my God.
They have no idea what they. Again, I always say my favorite videos are the ones with the Palestinians yelling at the gays to go away from the protests. It's yeah.
It's a crazy world we live in.
But that's.
We're trying
But also this
But there's a hope. There's hope.
There's hope.
Seeing you guys is that it brings hope into
And
it.
I'm very optimistic when this war ends, inshallah, that there will be a true, genuine peace in the region, because I believe the world, the leaders of the Middle East, and even the intellectual people, they realize that what's happening cannot go on for and what Hamas did on October 7th, it's hijacked the political decision of all the Arab countries and started a war that no one wanted. And then why don't you stand with us? You went into a war, and now you are desperately asking for a ceasefire. And then what we can do is
why'd you start in the first place?
why you started? Why did you? I know for sure that this war wanted to prevent other peace treaties with Israel.
There was a coming deal with Saudi Arabia. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've heard that.
That's
I've
what
read
they
that.
wanted to tank.
Yeah.
They wanted to tank.
So I don't know if you can answer this question, but I am curious of what you think. Is there pressure on Hamas to end this, like from in the region? Like what do you see as the way out of here?
Behind the scenes,
Is anybody first of all, a big question that has been coming up is anybody really able to communicate with the head of Hamas?
Qatar.
With
They are
Sinwar?
Qatar is.
They are 30 meters. You know what that is? Underground.
I actually don't.
they're
I
f-
can't
they're f-
convert the math.
I can't do it either, but it sounds so
in some
dramatic.
places
So
it's
dramatic.
even
Anything with meters sounds so dramatic.
It just sounds really.
They're 5 meters away. Meters.
5 basketball
Not
courts,
meters.
right?
But they're 30 meters
How
below
far
ground.
is 30 meters?
30
3
yards.
times
Meters a yard.
a yard. Yeah.
So there are negotiations.
Is someone communicating with
there are
him?
negotiations happening between the Egyptian side and also the Qatari side. The Qatari also, I want to.
You like how he pronounces that?
Amazing.
I want to
Can you
reflect
do it?
one important thing, that Qatar has great relationship with the rest of the GCC countries, and especially that Al-Ula agreement happened in 2021. So the problem with Qatar in 2017 was resolved, and Qatar said that it has Hamas leaders on its soils to communicate, to facilitate the communication with Hamas in order to reach a better deal for the hostages. And I believe the problem is not in the communication with Hamas. I believe the problem is with Hamas itself. Sinwar wants to sacrifice the last Palestinian child until he destroys. Look at what he did. Okay,
No.
let me ask you one thing. Hold on.
Sinwar and the Iranians.
Let me ask you one thing.
Of course, the Iranians.
They're behind this.
Yes,
If I am a responsible leader, okay, let's say I'm a responsible leader, I decided to go into this crazy war. Let's just say, and now I see the chaos happening.
Right.
I would, if I was responsible and care for the rest of my
Right.
people, let's stop the war, lay down the arms, and
Right.
let's find. If you are a responsible leader, of
Right.
course, but these people are not responsible.
It's not. It's a different war. So I've told the story before, but my father was telling me his war stories. My father was in 3 wars in Israel. The 6-Day War, he was telling me that he was in a battalion that was these half trucks, half tank, It was 3 or 4 of them, and he was the driver of the front one, and the officer was there. And then they ran into. They didn't run into. They see a similar battalion of, I think it was Jordanians. Okay, and they see each other with the binoculars and this and that. My father is driving the front truck tank, and my father just, without any instructions from the captain or whatever, just makes a hard left and drives that way. They make their hard left and drive the other way. It was a battalion of reservists. These are men that have children, businesses, houses, all back in Israel, back in Jordan. They're not looking to fight and kill each other. Now they were in a uniform. Israel, Jordan. It was something substantial. And it just, at the moment, they decided there's no need. We're going to start shooting each other now. I got to get home. I got a wife and kids. My father had 2 daughters, a business he just opened up, and a house he just bought. What's he starting a war here? So they went, and because it was governments that started that war. It wasn't, now they came in there on ecstasy, whatever they flew in there. They're on a different mission. They are meth. They are ready to rock and roll and scream and shoot and kill.
But that's the difference between the war with
Jordan. That's the difference between the wars.
By the way, Jordan didn't want to get into the 67 war. They were pressured by the Egyptians and the Syrians. And Jordan was like, okay, we have to get into this war. That's why they were never really invested in that war.
And no one wants to go into war with Israel now. If you read the geopolitics, even Egypt, by the way, the 1977 peace agreement with Israel had some sort of restrictions on the Egyptian army in Sinai. But when Egypt had to fight extremists in Sinai, it took the permission of Israel. And
It had to.
Yeah, the coordination with Israel, and Israel allowed it. So even President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, when he talked about Israel, he talked positively that these people are very reasonable people. You can easily understand. You can have an understanding with them.
The government,
according to the peace agreement, we
see
should never be there.
The governments want to see
no military presence should be in Sinai. But we talked with them with reason that we have to go after extremists, and it was approved. Egypt doesn't want to have war with Israel. I believe also the Jordanians are very reasonable. They don't want to have war with Israel. Everyone wants. I told you the thriving and prosperous Middle East.
Right, there's 2 Middle East. The 2 Middle East. That's the name of your title of this thing. The two Middle East.
The 2 Middle East, by the way, the 2 Middle East was a video that was released 2 days ago by the head of the Sky News Arabia. His name is Nadim Qutaish. And that video went viral and made Islamists and pro-Hamas activists go crazy. I want you to
in a bad way.
In a bad way.
In a bad way. Oh,
because they want this to be the whole narrative. There's one Middle East, and it's rad. That's what they want people to think.
I don't know. Maybe I'm being naive, but when you say, the majority of Muslims don't think what you think, I have a hard time believing that, in the same way that I have a hard time believing that the majority of Israelis, and I think the majority of Muslims, want peace. It's just that the extreme voice and the horrible things that you hear, and I think it's disgusting, by the way, what they say about Palestinians and that they group everyone together, that I think that those voices are louder.
Yes.
I think.
Yeah.
I agree, but the majority of Muslims want peace, that's for sure. But the majority of Muslims are not thinking positively about Israel.
They don't accept Israel.
Because of education.
Okay, so that's the other thing. Don't brainwash children.
Education.
Yes.
This is why I'm telling you, social media, education through social media is very important.
Yes.
And when you said that, when you went to France and you said, I control the media, I'm a Jew, I'm going to control this.
They believe that.
They
really believe that,
me,
unironically.
The 18-year-old Loay believed in that because one of the books that really influenced my childhood was The Protocols of the Elders of Zion. I have the copy from Egypt, and it says on the first page, this is the book that the Jews don't want you to read. Have you heard about it? The Protocols of the Elders of Zion.
You never heard this book?
The Protocols of the...
Yeah, the Protocols.
The Protocols of the Elders of Zion.
This is the book that...
Fictitious book.
The Russian Tsar secret police put this out in the 1800s. to
No, that
I'm
is-
so surprised you haven't heard of
inspire
it.
hate against the Jewish people.
I'm not that smart. I'm not a big intellectual.
No,
I tell
no,
jokes on a stage. I'm not a professor. I'm not a rabbi. I have a podcast,
But when you said I control because this is what the book says.
as a joke,
the Jews,
in comedy.
that's the irony. The book says this.
Right.
So this was a book written by the secret police of Tsarist Russia to inspire hatred against Jews, to stoke anti-Semitism.
Okay.
And around the world today, white supremacists and Islamists read it believing it's real and true, and this is the plan of
And
the
it
Jews
says
to
the
control
same
the
things
world.
you're making fun of. The Jews want to control the media.
Yeah.
The Jews control the money. The Jews control the world. The Jews control the politics.
The weather.
Not yet.
But the end of that joke is, so be nice to us. That's how the joke ends. So work with us. What are you shooting us for? What's wrong with
No,
you?
that book says avoid. This is why you should avoid them. And this way.
In the Middle East, they breed it. They believe it still.
You know, there was an Egyptian TV show called Faris Bila Jawad, a horse, a knight without a horse. It revolved around this book,
Really?
and it was published 2002. It was one of my, I'm sorry to say this. I don't mean to offend. It was one of my best shows. Because you say, oh, this is the Jews, evil one. God was right when you said the fierce enemies of the believers.
Well, today we have Curb Your Enthusiasm, and it shows with humor. Though I'm not the biggest fan of the show, but the whole world loves it, and because it's showing you Jews kvetching and trying to get an extra egg on their omelet or whatever he does in every episode with a joke and a punchline, and which is great. But the whole world looks at Larry David and think this is what a Jew is.
Yeah.
You know, this is what it's not. They don't see a guy like this with muscles and this. That to him, Larry David that's what a Jew looks like, and they're okay with it. And they're okay with it.
And you know what I think when I heard this, when I started to do the inner battle in 2010 with a Jewish family, when I lived with them, and I tried to and I reconciled, I told myself, if 15 million Jews would take over 1.5 billion Muslims, chapeau. I would raise the hat. You're saying that 15 million are controlling 1.5 billion? Where are the 1.5 billion then? 15 million Jews are taking over the world? What the 1.5 billion Muslims are doing then? Shows weakness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, there are racist tropes and stereotypes for everyone.
But please
right?
get your copy
Well, maybe
of the protocols of the. No, I'm serious.
I'm
because
gonna get it.
I'm really more interested
between looking
in
between looking your name up and getting this book, the FBI is going to show up at my door. The FBI is not. Hello.
I really want some English subtitles on your Night Without a Horse
Yeah.
show.
These Egyptian shows are ridiculous.
a night is like a night, like a K.
Yeah.
and
Yeah, I
a-
figured that
a
out.
night without a horse. You can look it up. And by the way, Israel at that time filed a complaint against the Egyptian TV authority because it was so anti-Semitic.
Yeah, listen, this
And,
stuff
and that
is
made it
really-
so popular. This is why even the Jews don't like it, because
Listen,
it's
this
telling the
stuff
truth.
is really dangerous. I mean,
So
you can
dangerous.
see when Hamas took over the education system of Gaza
From preschool,
in
they bring that.
2005.
Elon had that he had that book.
you can
that
see
that little
the books. It's
yeah.
horrible. They have Hamas Barney.
What I don't understand is,
They do.
They do. It's like a funny looking dinosaur.
Yes,
Yeah,
I've watched it.
Yeah.
And the mouse. They have like a Mickey Mouse copycat also.
And the Mickey Mouse copycat was inciting to kill the Jews.
Yeah.
It was on a TV called Al-Aqsa TV.
It's horrible.
If Egypt and these countries started putting out positive shows showing Jews and Israelis in a normal light, imagine what that would do in a
That was
generation.
hold on.
That's
Hold
incredible.
on. That was,
That's
should. They
but
should.
hold on. That
I know.
I'll be very honest. That's what Sadat wanted to do.
Yes.
A person or a leader who went into war
Phones around.
with Israel and then had peace with Israel,
Yeah.
realized how peace is so important.
Yeah.
And he was so honest. He made a joke with Golda Meir when he met her, when he gifted her a gift, and she gifted him back. And Golda Meir said, Sadat is the only leader who's calling me the old lady. and I'm calling him a father, and the jokes. Sadat was so sincere in doing this to Egypt, and that's why he paid his price.
Yeah.
That's right.
He paid a price for peace, but he was a leader that, to be very honest, preceded his time. He came way before. He came from the future. He had war with Israel,
Yeah.
but he understood that he could never take Sinai with war. He took Sinai with negotiations.
Negotiations, yeah.
But he was so serious, he never missed opportunities to miss opportunities. He took the first opportunity, flew to the US, met with Carter, did so many rounds, and guess what? He took what he wanted. But he was so serious in negotiations.
What Jews would do for peace is unbelievable.
Look what I
What
did.
they would give, they gave away Gush Katif. We gave away so many anything in hopes of peace, but that's changing now. It's
Of course.
changing now. Jews are like, no. If this is what the situation is, it's it.
You know, I've said-
I always keep mentioning this too. Now, the expression "never again." Everybody's saying
Is now again.
But we forget
No.
forget too fast. We
It's
Jews
not
forget too fast.
Never again means never again doesn't mean we're not going to have a Holocaust. We're not going to have people attacking us. That's going to be always. The never again is you're going to feel the repercussions of it. You attacked Israel. You do not have Gaza anymore. It is one big parking lot. You lost whatever you had. You lost it. You against the Jews in you speak against whatever the Harvard and MIT and that they lost their jobs. It's the never again is that we are not the Jews of 1930. The Jews in America are buying cannons. There is a phenomenon. They're all buying guns and they're arming themselves and they're preparing.
They see the writing on the wall.
They see the writing on the wall, and that's the never again.
Terrifying here. But
That's that you will feel it. You will feel it.
But you will survive it because the Jews survived Pharaoh, Achashvarosh, the Seleucids, Nazi Germany, and now Hamas, inshallah.
You left out Haman. You left out
Haman, Achashvarosh.
Amalek.
No, Achashvarosh is Haman. Achashvarosh is Haman.
Okay, yeah, you left it all there. They're all, yeah, and and on the. We survived that.
But I meant those who wanted to exterminate, because the Seleucids wanted to exterminate, Haman wanted to exterminate, Pharaoh wanted to exterminate, Nazi Germany wanted to exterminate.
you forgot a big one. We survived Ashkenazi food.
Ashkenazi food?
Yeah, it's bad.
I'll do the jokes on the podcast. Do me a favor.
Please.
Do me a favor here. Ashkenazi food. What?
I had to.
But you're Ashkenazi.
Half. My kitchen's very Sephardi.
All right. So
He said Iraqi, aren't you?
Iraqi. They cook with dynamite. Hog and
I love schul.
oh my God! My sister was married to him. They sit there with garlic and they're chopping it.
That's
Oh my God!
good.
It
Great.
burns your face off. It's delicious. You don't have anything. There's no senses in your mouth anymore.
We visited his family, by the way, 2 days ago in Indianapolis. Amazing people. And his mother is very informative on the Torah. I enjoy religious studies or religious, dialogues, because I believe for people who are searching for God would engage in these kind of. So I had good time with his mother.
No, I'm telling you, I've nothing. I'm learning the Quran through radicals. But at least I'm learning. But I'm learning what is written in there. I understand that their interpretation is insane.
Yes, it's
But today I learned that
But
jihad is your inner war. What?
There are reformers. They just don't use that terminology yet. But there are. There
The
are those
moderate
voices.
voices need to be louder.
speak up.
Yes.
Yes.
This is why I said in one of the interviews, I said, we don't have really two groups of Muslims. We have three: radicals, moderate Muslims, and brave moderate Muslims.
Yes.
You should have people who speak up, and trust me, you should not only listen to people from the region. Dan is from the region, but I mean, like, he's an Israeli Jew. He has to defend Israel, but take it from people from the region, and from people who are recovered from that ideology.
Recovered, yeah.
Listen,
Yes.
I have a very close
Yeah.
girlfriend who is Muslim Egyptian, and she grew up here. Her mother grew up in Egypt, And what she says is very similar to what you say, because people who have an actual understanding can take this position because they know how dangerous extremism is on both sides.
So I want to. So one thing we picked up between the two podcasts is that jihad could be interpreted as in your own inner battle,
The inner struggle.
your
yes.
inner struggle. Give us one more Dvar Torah, one more something like that we don't understand about the Quran.
Like, for example,
Yeah.
also, like, I told you about Islam and the way of submission, but I also told you about, for example, the word mujahid is the one who does the jihad.
Right.
So he should be someone who would never target women and children and the elderly. And there's a companion by the Prophet. His name is Abu Bakr, the first caliph, who, when he sent leaders to have jihad, he told them never attack women, children, and never attack churches, synagogues. But that doesn't exist. So it's good on the table. It's good in books, but the actions don't really reflect what's written.
So they found a way so the extremists found a way to take that
And do
and-
absolutely the
right.
opposite. And I met
Twisting definition.
I met people, Christians, who fled Iraq in 2015, and now they are living in the UAE. And they told me when ISIS came to Mosul, they put a big sign in our houses, Noon. Noon, it's the first letter from the word Nasara,
Notzrim.
like Christians.
Yes.
Wow.
So that when
Wow.
people come, like, you're shame on you, you are a Christian. So that they know that they would be ashamed. That is not in Islam. But of course, there are texts that would give these people an excuse to do so.
Right.
I'm being very honest and blunt.
Yeah.
I don't mean to speak wrong about my religion, because I love my religion, but I have to say that there are things that need to be reformed. I don't like Muslims who hide these facts from people like you or from the West and say, no, we don't have any problem. Then what is the basis that these people are committing their atrocities come from? You have to be very honest in saying that Islam has to go through a reform, just like any other religion.
Absolutely.
And I'm telling you, there is a reform. The UAE is doing this.
Thank God.
Baruch Hashem.
Thank
Do
God.
you think Saudi Arabia is on that same path?
Yes, I agree. I totally believe so.
'Cause this is
But
big.
they are
This
doing
is
it. They
big.
are doing it silently.
And it's wonderful when you see it. I was at a bar mitzvah of my friends Stephen and David. I can't believe 13 years ago they had a child. However, they had their kid with a surrogate and this and all that stuff that goes into to having a child. They had two, and they had a bar mitzvah, and that bar mitzvah was in a Chabad house. There's a Chabad is one of the Chabad, and the rabbi was unbelievable. And the rabbi was so sweet, and that's their community. They go there every Shabbat, and they are friends with the rabbi, and they're friends with his wife, and they treat them like "V'ahavta le'recha kamocha," love your neighbor as yourself. They treat them the way they would want their kids to be treated wherever they go. And this is ultra religious. This is Chabad, but they understand that this is a Jewish soul. You don't tell them you can't come in. Invite them. This is a soul that can reveal Mashiach energy. And so could this podcast. And again, I want to thank you guys for coming into this and staying for an extra session. And for this end of podcast, how do they reach you?
Online, Facebook, if anyone still uses that.
No, but give them how.
How?
Shaka.
Sharaka, SHARAKANGO. And
Dot
that's
.ngo?
NGO. Sharaka NGO, one word.
.com.
.com. That's the website. And then, of course, go to any of our social media accounts and you can reach out to us.
Okay, and we'll of course post. And
go to Instagram, AlShareef. That's
Spell
Lima
it out.
Alpha.
Spell it out.
Lima Alpha Lima
Lima
Sierra.
Alpha. He's landing airplanes.
Here.
Runway 5. Lima Alpha.
Lima Alpha, Lima, Sierra, Hotel, Sierra. What? That's right. Yes.
LOAY.
LALSHAREE.
That's all you.
Echo, Foxtrot. F.
Okay.
Foxtrot.
Foxtrot.
That's the alphanumeric used in ADC.
I know, but no
I
one
do lots
does
of
that.
I do lots of flight simulators.
No one does that. It's so funny.
I do lots of flight simulators.
It's hilarious. Okay.
I'm at Periel on Instagram.
Yeah.
Always just type in my first name, you'll find me.
Exactly. ModiLive.com for shows near you. Find the show near you. We're going to be announcing a lot. And always, as I say, be the friend that brings the friends to the comedy show. I've been calling people out in the audiences lately. You said one person brings 10 people. That's Mashiach energy. Not just mine. Any comic you see coming into your area, buy 6, 10 tickets. By the time the comic gets there, you'll see your friends are looking for tickets, and those that really need a laugh will be there. And you'll see you're creating Mashiach energy. ModiLive.com and shows everywhere. Anything else? The special. Oh my God. The
Yes.
special. Wow.
Like huge news. We didn't even mention it.
Wow.
What happens in the
What
past
happened
couple
is
of weeks, Modi?
What happened the last couple of, well, first of all, we had two episodes with these amazing Mashiach energy driven people that I completely forgot. My special is out. I can't believe this is happening. Leo is going to kill me. My special is out. It's available on Amazon
Prime Video.
Prime Video, and it's available on ModiLive.com as well.
What's it called?
It's called Know Your Audience. I can't. This is happening. We're gonna have to have another. We're gonna have to do. And we got. That's it. Mashiach energy. This is what happened. We got into this, and we have another guest coming on this episode. My special is out. Everybody, share it with everybody. It's Prime
Video. On Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime, and on ModiLive.com. It'll bring you to where you can download it, and it's been getting such great feedback, especially if you have a parent, a grandparent that can't get to a show. Set them up. As millennials, as Gen Z, your function in life is to help older people with technology. Make sure that your family and your friends get to watch this amazing comedy special. I'm so proud of it, the work we did, me and Leo, and 800-Pound Gorilla, our partner in this.
I've gotten so many messages from people telling me that they've watched it.
It's been great.
I'm like, I don't know what you want, but probably because they can't get through to you.
Yeah,
You do shows in Israel?
Yeah.
Yes, and we'll be announcing soon.
I'll bring all my
We're closing
friends,
some
all 8 of
dates in
them.
Israel soon. Thank you very much. Thank you to Whites in Luxembourg, the law firm that is our friends. Period. Arthur, Perry. This is friends of the podcast. The law firm that not only does they do good, very philanthropic, and help us get the message out. Thank you all for listening, and be in touch.